The true story of a girl, a dog, and the Marine who saved them. The rain came down in torrents, turning the streets into rivers of mud and despair. Amidst the storm, a small, shivering figure trudged through the downpour, her tiny feet splashing silently through puddles. Lilly, barely 10 years old, had nowhere to go, no home, no family, no one. Weeks ago, her parents vanished without explanation. One day they were a family, the next, just silence. The house was empty, the cupboards bare, and the streets had become her only home. She didn't understand why they had left. She only knew the ache of loneliness, the kind that wrapped cold fingers around her heart and refused to let go. She was hungry, frozen, terrified. But still she kept walking. She didn't cry anymore. She couldn't. The tears had run out days ago. Then, in the shadow of an alley, something stirred. Huddled behind a dumpster, a shape emerged from the darkness. A German shepherd, filthy, skeletal, trembling not just from the cold, but from something deeper, fear, hopelessness, pain. His eyes, sunken and dull, met Lily's, two souls, equally broken, equally lost. She approached slowly, heart pounding. She had nothing to give, no food, no comfort, not even shelter, but something deep inside her recognized the dog's silent plea. She knelt beside him. "Don't worry," she whispered. "I won't leave you." The shepherd let out a faint whimper, pressing his nose to her hand. She named him Lucky. For the next 3 days the girl and the dog wandered together, homeless, hunted, hungry. They scavenged scraps from dumpsters, half-eaten sandwiches, expired cans. Whatever she found, she shared with Lucky. In return, he gave her what no one else had: loyalty, warmth, presence. They curled up in alleys together at night, Lucky's head resting on Lily's chest. She told him stories of better times, of a family that once was, of dreams that felt impossibly far away. But deep down, even as the world ignored them, even as the cold tried to swallow them whole, neither of them gave up. Then on the third day, something changed. A figure appeared at the end of the alley, tall, broad-shouldered, moving with purpose. His jacket marked him as military. His gaze was sharp, but softened when it landed on them, a filthy little girl and a trembling dog sharing the same broken piece of sidewalk. He stepped closer, his voice low and kind. "You okay, kid?" Lilly nodded, barely able to speak. Her throat was dry, her body exhausted. The man knelt, placing a calloused hand gently on Lucky's back. The dog didn't flinch. "I'm Tommy," he said. "You?" "Lilly," she whispered. Tommy studied them both, worn thin, fragile, but still standing. Survivors. "This dog," he said, nodding toward Lucky. "He's a fighter, just like you." It was the first kind thing anyone had said to her in weeks. Her eyes filled with tears. "You hungry?" he asked. She nodded again. "Let's get you both home." Tommy had seen a lot in his life. War, death, the ugliest sides of mankind. But something about this little girl and her dog stirred something he hadn't felt in years: a need to protect. At his modest house, Tommy gave Lilly clean clothes, a warm meal, and time to shower. He bathed Lucky, fed him, wrapped him in blankets by the fire. Then he waited, patient, gentle. When Lilly finally emerged, damp-haired and shy, Tommy met her with a soft smile. "You're safe now," he said. "Both of you." Lilly lowered her eyes. "I never thought I'd feel safe again." Tommy's heart cracked. In the weeks that followed, the empty house grew full of life, of laughter, of healing. Lilly slowly began to trust again. She didn't speak much at first, but she clung to Lucky, and wherever she went, he followed. Her silent guardian, her best friend, her everything. Tommy never forced her to talk about the past. He knew wounds like hers didn't heal on command, but he was there every morning, every night, proving through quiet presence that not everyone leaves. And Lucky? Lucky transformed. His fur thickened, his eyes brightened, his body grew strong again. But it wasn't just physical. He watched Lilly, protected her, slept at her feet every night. He knew she had saved him just as much as he had saved her. Tommy noticed it too. The way Lucky would stiffen when someone came too close. The way he placed himself between Lilly and the world. He wasn't just a dog anymore. He was her shield. Months passed. They became a family, not in the traditional sense, but in the ways that mattered most. Tommy found himself changing too. For years, he had been just a soldier, a weapon. But now, he was something more. He was a father. But peace is never permanent. One night, as Tommy tucked Lilly in, he noticed movement outside, shadows, men, watching. His military instincts flared. He knew that look. He'd seen it overseas. This wasn't random. It was targeted, and somehow it was about him. Old enemies, people he had helped put away years ago, had found him. And they were coming, for him, for Lilly, for Lucky. When the attack came, it was fast, brutal. Armed men stormed the house just before dawn. Tommy fought like the Marine he was, swift, fearless, relentless. But they had numbers. And then, just as one of the men raised a weapon toward Lilly, Lucky lunged. There was no hesitation, no fear, just instinct. He threw himself into the line of fire. A gunshot rang out. Lilly screamed. Tommy turned in time to see Lucky fall, blood staining his golden fur. Tommy lost it. He tore through the attackers like a storm, protecting Lilly, avenging the one who had saved them both. When it was over, the house was in ruins, but Lilly was safe, and Lucky. Lucky lay in her arms, breathing ragged, tail twitching once as he tried to lick her face. "You saved me," Lilly sobbed. "Don't leave, please." Tommy knelt beside them, tears streaming down his hardened face. "I'm sorry," he whispered to Lucky. "You were the bravest soldier I ever knew." And with one final breath, Lucky closed his eyes. They buried him under the old oak in the backyard, wrapped in the flag Tommy had once carried in combat. On the stone, 3 words were carved. Lucky, our guardian, our hero, our family. Lilly never forgot him. Not for a single day. Years later, she would tell his story, how a starving dog saved her life, how a Marine became her father, and how love, loyalty, and sacrifice are sometimes found in the most broken places. She would say, "He was my best friend, and he gave everything for me. That's what love looks like." And she was right. If this story moved you, share it, because somewhere out there, another child is waiting, another dog is hurting, and maybe, just maybe, your voice can help them find each other. Subscribe, because this story, it broke our hearts, and then put them back together again. Sharp turn. Tommy gripped the wheel tighter, trying to lose the car in the winding streets of his neighborhood, but the pursuit continued, relentless, closing in on him like a shadow. His heart pounded. Lilly and Lucky were at home, unaware of the danger speeding their way. He couldn't let them get caught in this. He had to protect them. Tommy slammed his foot on the gas, racing down the narrow road toward his house. But the black SUV behind him was faster. Before he could reach the driveway, the vehicle pulled up alongside him, blocking his path. His mind raced. He needed a plan, fast. But there was no time. The SUV doors flew open. 2 men stepped out, armed, menacing. "Get out of the car, Marine," one of them barked. The bond between them wasn't just strong, it was unbreakable. The morning after. The next morning was eerily quiet. Tommy had faced enemies with far more lethal weapons. But there was something about these men, the way they moved, the coldness in their eyes, that made his stomach turn. They weren't here to scare him, they were here for revenge. They were here to kill him. Tommy opened his door slowly. As he stepped out, only one thought filled his mind. Protect Lilly. He wasn't going down without a fight, but before he could make a move, there was a blur. Lucky, the German shepherd, once a sick and broken stray, now moved with terrifying speed. He lunged forward, his teeth bared, slamming into one of the attackers. The man crashed to the ground, his gun flying from his hand as Lucky growled. Feral, protective, unstoppable. Tommy's heart skipped a beat. He had never seen Lucky like this, fearless, wild, powerful. It was as if the dog had become a force of nature. The second man reached for his weapon, but Lucky was faster. With swift, calculated movements, he knocked the gun from the man's grip and pinned him to the ground. For a moment, everything froze. Tommy stood still, staring at the two attackers now cowering beneath the fury of a dog who had once been broken. But Lucky wasn't finished. The first man scrambled to his feet, pulling a knife from his belt. He lunged at Tommy, aiming for his throat. But Lucky surged forward, colliding with the man with a strength no one expected. He clamped down on the attacker's wrist, twisting until the knife clattered to the ground. The man screamed in pain, but Lucky didn't let go. He had made his decision. Tommy was his family. No one was going to hurt him. In a split second, Tommy realized what was happening. This was the moment of truth. Lucky, the dog who had been abandoned, who had fought to survive on the streets, was now saving his life. With a roar, Tommy tackled the second attacker to the ground, while Lucky held the first man at bay. In the chaos that followed, the two assailants managed to escape, fleeing into the night. But it was over. Lucky had done his part. He had saved Tommy. Tommy knelt beside the dog, his hands trembling. He couldn't believe what had just happened. Lucky, once so broken, so lost, had become his protector. Tommy stood in the driveway, staring at his house, still trying to process everything that had happened the night before. The attackers were gone, vanished into the shadows. Their plan had been stopped by a dog who had once been a sick stray, who had fought alongside a little girl in the streets of the city. Tommy couldn't believe how close he'd come to losing everything. Lilly, Lucky, the life they had built, all nearly gone in the blink of an eye. But Lucky had saved him. The German shepherd hadn't just fought off the attackers, he'd given his life for Tommy's survival. As the sun began to rise, bathing the world in a soft golden glow, Tommy felt something stir inside him. Gratitude. He had been given a second chance to protect the family he'd never expected to have. And it was all because of Lucky. The memory of the night burned in his mind. Lucky's growl, his fearless charge, his sacrifice. Tommy had held him as he lay dying, whispering words of love and gratitude, but it hadn't been enough. Lucky, though he had fought with every ounce of strength, had succumbed to his injuries. It was the ultimate sacrifice, and it changed everything. Tommy buried Lucky beneath the old tree in their backyard, where they had spent so many peaceful mornings together. He marked the grave with a simple stone. But the memory of that brave German shepherd would live on forever. Lilly was devastated. She clung to Tommy, sobbing for the dog who had saved them. She cried not just for Lucky, but for herself. For the first time in her life, she had felt the full force of love and the pain of losing it. Tommy held her close, reassuring her through his own grief. "Lucky gave his life because he loved us," he whispered. "He gave everything for us." And in that moment, Lilly made a promise. "I'll make sure no dog ever suffers like Lucky did," she said through her tears. "I'll help them. I'll give them the love and care they deserve." A new beginning. That's how it started. Lilly's mission to open a center for abused and abandoned dogs, a sanctuary where they could heal, find love, and ultimately, a forever home. It wasn't easy. It took years of hard work, setbacks, and dedication. But Lilly, with Tommy by her side, built the center from the ground up. They called it Ly's Place. A tribute to the dog who had saved their lives. A place of healing, a place where loyalty, bravery, and love lived on in every rescued soul. As the years passed, Lilly grew into a young woman with a fierce heart. Her mission became known throughout the community. Ly's Place became a beacon of hope, a safe haven, a testament to the bond between a girl and a dog. Tommy watched with pride. He had given Lilly and Lucky a chance when the world had turned its back on them, and in return, they gave him something he never thought he'd have again. A family. One forged in fire, stronger because of it. Their love was unshakable, their bond eternal. In the end, the story of Lilly, Lucky, and Tommy is one of redemption, of strength in the darkest times, of courage, loyalty, and love that knows no bounds. It is a story that will live on for generations. So if this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Share this story with your friends and family. Let's spread the message of kindness and compassion far and wide. And always remember, sometimes the ones who are meant to save us are the ones we least expect. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. If this tale moved you, if you felt the tension, the heartbreak, and the triumph, please support our channel by hitting the like button and subscribing. Your support means the world to us and helps us bring more thrilling, emotional, and inspiring stories your way. Leave a comment below and let us know what you think. Do you believe dogs have an extraordinary sixth sense? Share your thoughts and personal stories with us. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.